what do you think they need to do in order to continue to win games without shooting great from the 3-point strike?
Man, well, I mean, in the most simple way to answer that is you got to play defense, right? You got to get stops. But I think it's not that simple. Though. It's not, just get stops. It's like, how do you get the stops? But I think, you really got to be a good defense, a team defensive team, team defense, and I would say control the boards. And then you got to find a way to get easy buckets. Maybe you need to play faster, get out in transition, and just find ways to get everybody else involved. Because, when you start playing like that, everything's, becomes open. You get the ball off the rim and running fast. Now everybody's energy is up. It's more positive energy. Defensive energy increases, and now defense turns to offense. And that really changes the pace and the outcome of the game. So. Yeah.
So that's a great point. And obviously Jalen Wilson, been great this year, leading the team in rebounding right now on the squad. What do you think the bigs need to do? And not just obviously Jalen Wilson, but what do you think the bigs need to do in order to continue to stay active on the glass?
Man, it's a jungle. The bigs, I don't think they don't get enough of the credit because what they do is not the sexy part of the game, but you got to be physical. And then I think bigs, in some ways you need to quarterback the offense because a lot of times they're at the rim, so they're the eyes and the ears. They can see everything. So being big-time communicators, for sure, is a huge one because they should see everything. Protecting the rim, trying to guard without fouling. Those are all key things that where bigs, I think, have kind of I don't want to say the exclusive responsibility, but if they can do those things, it's highly, it's light. It's highly attractive. That's a good characteristic for bigs. So.
For sure. And obviously, KU, that was senior night. That was a 38 straight win on senior night. Do you think it's just something, obviously, and they came against a great Baylor team who's been a little bit down, obviously not being able to play over the course of weeks, being able just to play against Iowa State due to being quarantined because of the virus. But do you still think that the Fieldhouse gets a little bit better on nights like that when it's senior night in a pandemic as well too, with not 6,300 fans as well?
16. I absolutely believe so. I know it sounds corny and I got all the bias in the world, but that 6 man is real. You get some juice, something. I always tell people, like, coming out of that tunnel, just coming out of the tunnel, it never got old. Yeah. From freshman year to see you get them chills, and we get up for it. So, absolutely. Sorry, my screen jumped, but no, absolutely for sure. It has to.
So, what do you think the team's ceiling for the postseason? Obviously, winning the last 4 to 5 games, a good little stretch moving forward. What do you think the ceiling is for the squad?
I don't know what I think the ceiling is, but I think the best way to get there, as we play deep into the tournament every year. At this time of year, it's all about team. Yeah. Whoever you are now is who you're going to be. We don't need nobody doing anything else. Just play your role and be, like, absolutely great at it. I remember going into the tournament and, Keith Langford, he was our guy. Freeze was the scorer. It wasn't Michael Lee's turn when we was in front of 40,000. And at times I tried to do some stuff, and rightfully so, I got subbed out. But, I think this time of year it's just about surviving advance. It's just survival together. Like, you really got to stay together. Every possession counts. All that cliche stuff that coaches say that a lot of players take advantage of, as did I as a player. In that tournament, we start coaching each other. Like, man, we got to get these box outs. Man, we got to set that screen. We can't mess up the play. Like, that's a collective thing. And so Aaron was our leader. Aaron obviously was our leader, but everybody did their job, from Wayne to Moody, and I'm jumping around the teams. But with JR there, I don't want to say names. I know I'll leave somebody out, but you get the point.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, so, and Coach Self, he always finds a way to win those big matchups over top 10 teams. if you had to take one thing about how he prepares his teams for big games like that and include even in your coaching style, what would it be?
Say that again. Say that one more time. If I had to take one big thing from coach.
Yeah, and how he prepares his teams for those big games.
Uh-huh. What I appreciate now that I didn't appreciate as a player is he gave us a lot of information.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, this is too much. This is too much. Well, I mean, you can look at it that way, or you can look at it like he was really trying to prepare us. Like he gave us the answers to the test in that sense. And so that was, you know, I felt like he really does, I think, coach, and I think he's brilliant at it, but he flatters himself on his ability to make adjustments. Like, okay, they want to do this, we'll do this. They want to do this, we'll do this. And so adapt, put it into my own style, just, you know, making sure guys know thoroughly, like I have to be able to count on you outside of your individual talent. That has its place, but outside of that, you got to be able to be counted on. And coach really did. He never lowered the bar on that. And he would let you know if you did not know. He would let you better be playing good, because if you playing bad and you don't know, boy, it's gonna be a roast session.
Hey, and obviously you played for two great Hall of Fame coaches, and I mean very few number of players can say they played for two Hall of Fame coaches at KU, because it's not so many coaches that run through there. From your perspective, how are the coaching styles different? And I know you hear this a lot between Coach Williams and Coach Self, and you know everybody want to hear that. Everybody loves to hear that. That's the question I get asked most, man.
That's a great question. I think there's so many differences, and now I'm like, oh shoot, I got to give the politically correct answer, right? But I mean, in all fairness, like, I'm glad you said both Hall of Fame coaches. And I'll say this before I talk about it, but I remember Brett Ballard told me, who's a great coach. He said, Mike, you know, I'm just learning there's more than one way to skin a cat, and that's what you realize. We had a lot of success with Coach Williams' style, a lot of success. And I think Jayhawk Nations was kind of worried, oh, he's leaving, what now? Well, Coach Self came and did it his own way and was highly successful at it. He took it all the way to the top in 2008. And so I think that speaks to their individual brilliance. Now, saying all of that, I think the communication styles was different. Both had the high level of expectation, but how that was communicated was totally different. I think the type of players that were recruited were different. So they had different recruiting philosophies. Obviously, it was a different time. You know, when Coach Self came in, he asked me to do a lot more with the ball. You know, I was a ball handler as I was a guard, but I wasn't a confident ball handler. When Coach Self got there, it's like, Mike, you got to be able to put it on the floor. You know, we doing L-cut pull through baseline every day, spin back middle, and my game did mature when I got the opportunity to do it. Now, saying all that, when I messed up, he was still getting on me. But I love you, Coach. But no, and then I say that because I remember Coach Williams. Everything was about the system. You run that system, and that's no knock. Like, we didn't do a lot of player development stuff. We had our run and shoot days. You come in and get your shots up. You run a little bit, you go home. You know, with Coach Self, there was more put it on the floor. I think more creative. I think that particular style, coming off the pick and roll and bouncing the balls, that's what a lot of guards are asked to do now at the NBA level. But you can't knock that system that Coach Williams has perfected either. I mean, we saw just recently, he just got to 900 wins? Yep. So there's something to be said about it. But to each his own. If I had a chance now, I would honestly say I would try to merge Coach Williams and Coach Self philosophies together, because their individual genius collectively is, imagine that.